So it is 2022, it is a new year, it is January, and you're thinking about getting out hiking more or starting hiking for the first time. Every January we get messages about people who are looking to get outdoors, and this year we thought we'd make a couple of videos around that theme. So today I'm going to show you everything that we've put in a day bag for a day hike or a day out on the hills. When I think about a day bag, it's pretty straightforward. It's I'm out for one day, so I just need to know how long the trail I'm doing is and what the weather is going to be like. And they kind of primarily dictate what ends up in my bag. And I guess this one specifically is a little bit winter focused because that's the time of year it is. I've kind of packed this as if Cara and I were going to go do a county high point. So a few hours of hiking and yeah, anything that we might need for that kind of a day out. Okay, so this bag is a 20 litre low alpine bag. It does have a frame on the back and it has hip straps that when I'm using this for kind of day-to-day like shopping, I don't use hip straps. If I'm hiking, I sometimes do. Here's the bag. In the bottom, it has a zip here where a rain cover is stored, and that rain cover covers the whole bag and is great for wet weather days. So they're really useful things to have in Ireland. You don't need a technical bag to go hiking. I like this one, I use this one. You can use any sort of backpack. The main thing is keeping the stuff you have in your bag dry. Okay, so first item on top is my rain jacket. Now this is a very light Mackinac jacket. So one of those ones that scrunches down into a ball that you can store in like this much space. I'm trying it out for running, to have a really light running rain jacket, and also I was just curious, they're quite affordable on the scale of waterproof jackets. So far, so okay. I keep my waterproof jacket on top because that is most likely the first thing I'm going to be taking in and out, or the thing I'm going to be taking in and out of my bag the most because of where we are. Ireland is a rainy country. Nearly everything else in my bag is subdivided into little bags. This is for a couple of reasons, but the main one is keeping everything dry. Now, while the rain cover is great, if you're out for a few hours and it's wet the whole time, it's not going to save everything. And if you don't have a bag with a rain cover, if you just have an ordinary backpack, putting things into bags, in your bag, is great. So I have a mixture. This is just a Ziploc bag that has my food in it. I have 2 tubes of fruit pastilles, I have half a bag of salted peanuts, and I had a bread roll that I prepared earlier. It's my go-to day out on the hills. I know that when I get tired and hungry, I get quite cranky. So I always like to make sure I have plenty of food with me. If something takes longer than expected, sitting down, eating something, always makes you feel better, helps you refocus. So I always bring a decent amount of food. Now, I come home quite often with it, but that just means I get to eat it at home. Or, like fruit pastilles and peanuts, they're just ready for my next hike. They're not something that go off easily. Okay, next item is one of 2 dry bags I have in my bag. So this one is the small one, and this one has my kind of electronics / easily hurt items. So I have map and compass. There's no point in bringing a map if you don't know how to read it. I have these with me at the moment because I am working towards my mountain leader to be an outdoor guide, so that would be a cool qualification to have. And I also just really love knowing more about the outdoors, so I've just been practicing loads. So I have a full-on paper map, and this one isn't laminated, which is why it's in that bag. And if you're going out on a really wet day, you probably don't want to be taking an unlaminated paper map out in the rain. So what you can also do is photocopy sections of it and laminate those bits so that they last for your hike, and so that you can kind of you can draw the route that you're planning on doing on it then, and you don't kind of feel bad that you're hurting your original map. Yeah, so for me, I've been bringing these way more recently than I used to, like the compass especially, because I'm just trying to like practice with it loads. If you're going out for like an easy day hike, you probably don't need a map of the area, but knowing some basics about where you're going to before you get there, or texting a friend saying I'm doing this looped hike of Monachmeen, and if you don't hear from me by 6 p.m, try calling me, is always a really, really good thing to do. And yeah, just kind of keeping your wits about you. A lot of people do use phones for maps, so no matter how charged my phone is, or Carl's, we bring a battery bank. This is quite a large one. We do have a smaller one, but this has been the one that's done literally all of Tough Souls with us. It's been going since 2017. It's a brick, but it's amazing. So that can charge both of our phones, no problem, plus more. So we know we're going to be fine if we bring this with us. Next thing I have is a head torch. So any sort of torch at all is great. You may have noticed we're not particularly early risers typically. Tough Souls is always having a late start, so a head torch or some form of torch is great. This is a lead lenser Neo 6 ore. So it's 200 lumen head torch. I use it for running mostly. What I quite like about it is that the cable has like a disconnect section, so that when you're not using it you can like disconnect the torch from the battery, so you don't end up like I have so many times. Your head torch is just on in the bottom of your bag and drains the battery like super fast. So that's one of the reasons I like this one. I also quite like that it's rechargeable. It's quite light, it fits comfortably on my head, and it's kind of again one of the affordable options for a really good quality piece of kit. So all of these, oh, and last but not least, a purse with cash in it. No matter where you go in Ireland, there's going to be some situation where you need cash as opposed to card. Most places do take card now, but you get exhausted and you end up on a road and you have to call a taxi. You know, it's just easier to have some backup cash with you. So all of these things are my kind of like invaluables, and they all sit in their own little dry bag. Dry bag is kind of what it says in the tin, I guess. It keeps the items in your bag dry. So you have to roll it 3 times on the top, and that like seals it. Clip it, and these items should now be dry. 1 or 2 of our dry bags we've been using for like 5 years, and they do have tiny holes in them now, so they're not quite effective. But if it kind of keeps the air, like you poke it and it's like a pillow, you're pretty much sealed. You don't have to have a fancy dry bag. You can just use Ziploc bags or bin bags for this kind of stuff. But yeah, there's nothing worse than opening your bag and everything being wet inside. Which brings me on to the next one. So this is my extra layers. Okay, I'll go through what I'm wearing first. So I have my hiking legging trousers. I have a merino base layer. I quite like to wear merino. Carl wears a mixture of merino and like capilene, which is a synthetic blend. What you basically never want to do is wear cotton hiking, because when cotton gets wet, it stays wet, it gets very heavy. It also smells faster if you're sweating a lot. The bacteria develop more on cotton. It's just not a great material for going hiking in. So synthetic is way more your friend. If you get wet, you dry out way faster. It doesn't hold the moisture the same way. So no jeans, none of that kind of stuff. You want things that are going to dry out afterwards. So anyway, this t-shirt is a merino base layer. I then have a mid layer, so it's like a fleece. And then this is my insulation layer. So this is a down jacket. Don't have to get down, you can get synthetic warm layers. Because this is down, I definitely need to bring a waterproof layer with me, because down does not react well to the rain. So that's why I have my waterproof jacket. And then on my feet, I have my lovely hiking socks and some comfy hiking boots. These are quite lightweight hiking boots, they're not heavy duty. Carl and I got these from Merrill. They're kind of there, slightly more than a shoe, not a boot, boots. I really like them, they're really lightweight. So far the waterproofing is holding up really well. They're pretty grippy. They're just like handy for easy trails. You can totally wear shoes when you're hiking. I use my trail runners. Yeah, so then that's kind of what I start off with. Oh, and I have a hat on. So this is kind of my starting point. Once I actually get moving, this insulation layer is definitely coming off. It gets very warm. But just in case I get cold or really wet, I also have with me, also being kept dry, a pair of gloves, a buff, and like a scarf for my neck area, kind of stops all the heat escaping. I have another kind of jumper mid layer, and I have a dry pair of socks. Now realistically, I'm probably not going to be changing my socks on the side of a mountain, but just in case I am, I like to have them with me. If not, I change when I get back to the car if my feet are that wet. I personally like to have quite a plush, nice pair of socks if I have to change with me. So those, extra mid layer, which if I get back from my hike and I'm soaking wet, I can also just change into that. It's a light merino zippy jumper and my gloves. So there are all my dry clothes staying dry in this. Okay, first aid kit, just a nice little small one. We keep a load of like plasters, yeah, tape, I've forgotten the word. Blister pads. Complete. There we go. A foil blanket. We rarely have to use our first aid kit. I don't know if we've ever had to use our first aid kit on a day hike. We have had to on multi-day hikes, so I'm glad that we have it. It's pretty light, it's very small, and it keeps us safe. Lastly, I have another waterproof jacket with me. Now, you don't need two. However, because I'm trying out the yellow Mackinac one, I have this Columbia titanium one with me, because this one is like, it's definitely going to keep me dry. It has taped seams. It's a really nice jacket. It's technically Carl's. It's kind of like a dress on me, but it definitely keeps me dry. And I keep that in the bottom of my bag because A, I hopefully won't need it, and B, if I put my bag down on something wet, I don't want the first thing that the water seeps through to hit be something that's going to soak up water. So a rain jacket is not going to soak the water up into the bag even more. So yeah, I think that's everything. Water, I would normally have a bottle of water in one of the sides. For a day hike, I'm normally fine with a litre. It's going to vary person to person. Make sure you have some with you. Carl also typically takes a litre. I know some people who drink a minimum of 2 litres, so whatever works for you, great. Also, make sure to kind of customise this to the time of year. This is very winter. There's a lot of layers in there. In summer, I might have, well, I'll definitely have sun cream. I might have an umbrella, which I sometimes have in winter as well. Umbrellas are a funny one. I feel like quite a few outdoorsy people use them, but they're not talked about hugely. When it's just kind of like misting wet, it's really nice to be able to put down your hood for a while and just like walk with an umbrella. It's actually really relaxing. And they also work really great for shade. If you've been like walking through a bog that has no trees for a whole day and you had no shade all day, an umbrella is also really nice for that. They're very versatile and they can be quite lightweight. We just get like the small one. So if you are also a secret umbrella user, let us know. Yeah, I think that's everything we need for a day hike. Charged phone. I think plan ahead and prepare is the big one. If you're going out and it's going to be a wet day but you still want to go out, make sure that you have the stuff that's going to keep you dry or at least keep you warm enough to do your hike. If it's going to be a hot day, extra water, sun cream, you know, cater it to where you're going and what you're doing. But I think this is a pretty good base for cooler temperature hiking. So yeah, if you think I'm missing anything or if you have anything else in your day bag, do let us know. And yeah, happy 2022. Happy New Year. At the end of every video we say a huge thank you to the people who support us on Patreon. It's thanks to our patrons that we are able to keep making videos and keep hiking, So a huge thank you to everybody over there who supports us. It really means the world to us. This week I'd like to say a special thank you to Marcus Kavanagh, to Dominic Redmond, and to Alexi Bozhor. Sorry for any mispronunciations. Yeah, I hope you have a wonderful time hiking, and I'll see you in our next video. Also, secret top tip, if you have a heavy duty dry bag, you can also sit on them to keep yourself dry.